Goku and Vegeta are arguing whether or not they need to fuse, because Vegeta is pent up by the thought of working together, especially fused. Vegeta accepts at long last, and Goku mentions the permanent thing. Vegeta is mad, just like in canon, but still goes with it. At long last, Vegito is born.
Alright! We're a combined fighter, a fusion of Vegeta and Kakarot. Vegito!
Vegeta was cocky as balls and went to his usual canon plan, entering Buu and attempting to save everyone. He applies his barrier and enters Buu's body, but once Vegito takes the barrier off, they do not defuse. Vegeta is well aware of that, and they've been told that, so they're gonna be stuck like this forever. But their main objective is saving everyone. So Vegeta goes and saves everyone, attempting to escape until Buu appeared within his own body and went to tease Vegito. Vegito went and saw Good Buu strapped into a cocoon. So he disappeared right to the cocoon and rips it out without any second thoughts, allowing him to have enough time to escape with everyone, even Good Buu. Vegito escapes, and so do the trapped Z fighters. Buu underwent a transformation. Vegeta started preparing himself for it, but all he saw is a small, childlike Buu, or simply Kid Buu. This Buu was proper and pure evil, and was the first Buu that existed. Good Buu awoke, as well as Trunks' Goten. Good Buu saw the Kid Buu and went to fight him, despite his crippled state. Good Buu held his own, but couldn't do it for long. When Kid Buu sent Good Buu to the ground and Buu went to rush, Vegito grabbed his arm and told him that he will defeat him easily, stepping forward and instantly getting next to Kid Buu, elbowing him. Kid Buu got instantly taken down by base Vegito, but Vegito noticed that Kid Buu is powering up, already predicting what's about to happen. So Vegito instant transmissions Kid Buu onto a random planet where Kid Buu and Vegito can do all the damage they can. Kid Buu prepares a massive blast to destroy Vegito, but Vegito simply prepares a nice and small Big Bang attack, throwing it back at Buu's blast. The Big Bang attack goes through the death ball like a hot knife through butter, reaching Kid Buu and getting him sent flying to outer space, getting dissolved and dying right then and there. Vegito senses nothing at all, so he safely instant transmissions back to Earth, to which the Z fighters go ask Vegito what happened. Vegito just smiled and said,
"There is no evil Buu no more, only the good version."
Buu gets out of the rubble and thanks Vegito. Vegito just smiles and welcomes Buu to the Z fighters. A few months have passed and we see Vegito with no earrings and their wives bickering about who gets to be with him the most. Vegito actually has an idea. He teleports to the Kaioshin world and yoinks the Potara. He goes back home and tells the two, if both of them want to be with him, that they can fuse just like the two of them did. But permanently, exactly, you guessed it, just like him. Both of them are eager to fuse, so they grab the Potara and fuse into Bochi as quickly as they decided on it. With it, the two lovey-doveys are now connected as a whole. Goten and Gohan are now siblings with Trunks in a way, and they all live at Capsule Corp. With Vegito's mindset and Bochi's combination of smarts and cooking skills, the two are a perfect human Saiyan match. Vegito trains all three of his sons, and Vegito managed to beef up all three of them. Even Gohan isn't a weakling no more. Goten and Trunks are now Super Saiyan 2s, and Gohan is trained to push Mystic to get it to be extremely powerful, and Gohan is maintaining it with extreme ease. Vegito is training in his usual ways, and he even goes to King Kai to get to learn Kaioken again, since only Goku knew it. So Vegito catches on to it with no major difficulty. Vegito then comes back home for his wife's birthday. Since Bochi is Bulma and Chi-Chi fused, they have two birthdays, and this time it's Bulma's. So it's held on a massive cruiser ship. Vegito comes home and finds his wife and hugs her, saying,
"I think this is a gift good enough for my wifey. None of that expensive shit."
Bochi blushes, but welcomes Vegito on board. Meanwhile, all the Beerus bullshit goes on pretty much like in canon, just that Whis mentions Vegito instead of Goku, and the two deities go to Earth straight away. Vegito is notified by Shin about the Beerus thing, and Vegito knows who he might be and is on guard. knowing his half met him as a child. Beerus lands on Earth and is greeted by many wonderful people and cuisines. Vegito just makes acquaintance with the god, and the Boo incident goes the same, triggering and also scaring Vegito. Beerus fought all the Z fighters, and Beerus complimented the strongest, especially Vegito, who transformed into a Super Saiyan 3 in front of everyone and battled Beerus. However, it wasn't good enough, as Vegito was also dropped. Beerus then prepared for the destruction of Earth, but Vegito interrupted by saying that he can find a Super Saiyan God to fight him, so they get the Dragon Balls and they eventually find out they need to perform the ritual. Vegito figures straight up they need 5 plus 1, so he goes and looks on to see none of the Saiyans that are present can achieve that goal. Videl steps in though, announcing her pregnancy. Looking over to Bochi, and Bochi says fuck it and announces that her and Vegito will have the first fusion child that was ever born. Vegito hears the great news and hugs his wife, not even believing it. Beerus then intercepts the situation and says that they need to try regardless. So Goten, Gohan, Trunks, Bochi and Videl all put their hands on Vegito and begin the ritual. The ritual starts and goes perfectly well. When it ends, we see a Super Saiyan God Vegito, ready to battle. Beerus is excited and cannot wait either, so he starts the battle. Vegito starts playing with Beerus to get to know his power, while Beerus is trying to dodge and block the attacks. Vegito then gets accustomed to his initial power and steps it up to about 50% right then and there. Vegito makes quick work of Beerus, but Beerus is not done yet, powering up to 100% and attempting to knock Vegito out. Vegito can't dodge or block as fast, but he manages to power up 100% and taking the hit with almost no issue. Beerus then gets scared and tries to hit Vegito, but just can't. Vegito at this stage is thousands of times stronger than Goku from canon, and Beerus can't do anything against him. Beerus says,
"Let's end this fight peacefully and move on with our day." "You asked for a fight, Lord Beerus, not a sparring match. You're either gonna die or get knocked out right there."
Vegito then literally instant transmissions to Beerus, sledgehammers his head, bringing Beerus unconscious. Vegito then picks him up and lands down from the stratosphere onto the ship. Whis congratulates Vegito on the well-deserved win. Vegito just thanks Whis, asking what exactly is he. Whis replies that he's Beerus' attendant and teacher. Vegito is surprised, just as he starts losing his Super Saiyan God, and tells Whis he needs to train him more, so that Beerus puts up more of a fight, flattering Whis. "Ah, you Saiyans. Simple-minded creatures with only fighting in mind. However, I'd like to train you more than Lord Beerus. How's that sound?"
"Really? I'm so there."
With that, Vegito is now under Whis' training, and Beerus is taken home. Vegito also loses all his Super Saiyan God power, but maintains the God power he was given from the loss of Super Saiyan God, just like Goku in canon. After this nice talk with Whis and the fight with Beerus, Vegeta was maintained the power of the Super Saiyan God and is feeling proud, courtesy of Vegeta's side of the fusion. He said,
"This is amazing. All this power inside of one being. I thought that the Kai was powerful, but Beerus, oh, I can't wait to battle him again."
"You do realize that he came here to destroy Earth, not fight. What if your little fight gave him the motivation to train?"
"Nah, don't worry about it, baby girl. He gained my respect, and I gained his. Also, I've been training with Whis, so if he tries something, he won't be able to, because I'll come up on the top."
Fair? But I don't want to be the destruction fugitive / victim of a destroyer god.
"Alright, babe. Any more food left?"
and so Vegito goes to eat the food, since he got tired from the fight. After the party was over, they get back to their normal routines. Sadly, Chi-Chi's side of Bochi forces Vegito to work. Surprisingly, he does it, and instead of farming like Goku, he's forced to be in a quarry, watching over miners and gathering materials for all the Capsule Corp projects Bochi's cooking up in the little lab of hers. starting the project she named Project of Time, which you can already guess what it is. In the meantime, Vegito and Bochi were visited frequently by Whis for food and to talk with them. Oh my god, Bochi, this is exquisite! Can you show me the recipe?
Indeed is. So, this deal, the training, is it legit?
Why yes, your husband has a lot of potential. Being a fused being, not only his fighting traits multiplied, but his potential has multiplied with the fusion.
So training is gonna be good then?
Yes. What about you, Bochi? Would you like to train? I can sense a pretty powerful ki within you. Would you like to be my protege as well?
I would, but I have a company that needs to be maintained. And I'm also pregnant, so I can't move a lot.
Well, let me help you with that. It's a regular maternal pregnancy, right?
Yes?
Whis then makes quick work of Bochi's slightly bulging stomach and gets the little baby girl out in the open, covered in blankets. Change their mind? You can breastfeed too. I have given birth to your baby and boosted your hormonal changes that would happen during the pregnancy. Now, I'd like to appoint that boy with glasses too. Also, the kids that temporarily fused. Well, they will be a huge plus in training too.
A training bargain sale?
Whis appointed Vegito, Bochi, for some goddamn reason, and all 3 children to be Whis' apprentices. The baby was named Ashalot, part of Bochi's and Vegito's agreeing since they're both pent up with the same human fused Z stuff, and was given to Dr. Briefs and Panchi for daycare. And so, they all go to Beerus' planet. On there, Bochi was mostly cooking for starters, which was also training for her as Whis purposely made everything for cooking far away, boosting her stamina by a ton. Vegito and Gohan were both doing Beerus' sleep maintenance, and the 2 kids were sent for sparring and jogging around the premises. All was good for our crew. On Frieza's ship, however, Frieza's crew decided to revive Frieza and bring terror back into the universe. They do so with flying colors. Frieza then vows to train for 4 months. At this point, the crew on Beerus' world has begun proper training. Vegito was taught how to use and sense God Ki alongside Gohan. Vegito has already gotten his Super Saiyan God back, controlling it at will, and is getting the hang of it very easily. Gohan is still trying out for his mystic power, but Whis told him to experiment with it once he taps into God Ki. So Gohan does exactly that, entering Super Saiyan God within a day. We saw incredible potential within everyone there. Bochi's cardio went well and is now taught how to sense ki and advanced martial arts from both Whis and Vegito as they spar together. She even sparred with Trunks and Goten and saw that these 2 are more of a match. All while Whis had a special plan for them, adjustable metamorph fusion. So Whis trains the 2 extended usage of ki and the key to maintaining the fusion for longer than just 30 minutes in base. After 10 months of them training, Vegito and Gohan have managed to attain Super Saiyan Blue. Goten and Trunks have mastered the fusion dance, and Bochi has attained the expert ki control and is able to sense God Ki to get cheer on her husband in terms of power games. Dr. Briefs called Whis, saying there's someone that needs to talk to Bochi. Whis gives the staff to Bochi and she sees Jocko, who briefly explains the Frieza situation. Bochi gets excited to fight him, thinking she's strong enough to take on Frieza from back then, which she is, but Jocko explains how Frieza is frighteningly more strong than before. Bochi was pretty bummed to hear that, so she looks at Vegito, then Gohan, and then gives them both a thumbs up. To which they give the thumbs up back with enthusiasm. So they use Vegito to travel back using instant transmission. Vegito remembered his way back and in perfect timing, Frieza lands on the planet.
Are you man enough to fight a girl? If not, then you probably have bigger ovaries than I thought you did.
Enough, woman! You're just testing his patience. I mean, you can fight him, but don't hurt him too much.
With pleasure, honey. So Frieza, are you ready to get her ass folded to you?
What's a girl going to do?
With no warning, Bochi is on Frieza in an instant, punching him out of his little floaty pod. Bochi then went ahead and beat Frieza up quite a bit. Seeing that Bochi has no time to waste, Frieza goes straight to his final form and right hooks Bochi. Just as Bochi turns around, we see her beautiful, red eyes as she entered her own God state in a way, bursting an aura that resembles Super Saiyan God aura.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I shatter your ego? These kids and my husband are way stronger than me. So you better have some ass pulls in order to defeat me.
Frieza gets triggered and fights Bochi. However, the two are pretty equal. If anything, Bochi is slightly ahead. Frieza is frightened but focused.
So you think I cannot beat you, huh?
Considering my infant daughter can throw a stronger punch suggests so, yeah.
Then I better not waste any time and fight the strongest.
Frieza begins powering up, going as hard as he can, and entering his golden form. Bochi gulps as she gets punched into the mountain, with Vegito running over to her rescue. Gohan then steps in.
It's been quite a while since I've seen you, Frieza. Too bad your father isn't here to see you die, monkey. Oh, he is. He's fused with Vegeta, helping the girl you dropped just now. So you wanna fight me? Fight you? No, I wanna kill you.
Gohan then explodes in a blue aura. After a few seconds of show, he transforms into Super Saiyan Blue and floats over to Frieza, who is visibly angered. Frieza then punches Gohan and he flies away. However, Gohan catches himself, imploding his aura and making his hair even more blue, with a white glow. He has reached the ultimate blue state, as he floats back to Frieza, landing a punch on Frieza so strong that Frieza spits out blood, and falls back to his final form immediately after. Gohan catches him.
Is that it? Frieza returned to his hell, only to experience new hell. That one was for my mother.
As Gohan completely obliterates Frieza. No planet destruction or anything. Gohan drops back to base, still maintaining his mystic, and flies over to his fused mother, who regained consciousness. Once she gets back to her senses, she comments how she never had so much thrill, growing to like fighting just like the Saiyans. Vegeta and the kids are glad to see their mob actually having fun fighting, making Goten and Trunks extremely excited. With that, Bochi, Trunks, and Goten go back to Capsule Corp. Gohan goes back to his studies and being with Videl throughout the rest of the pregnancy, and Vegito is back on Beerus' world and is continuing his training, going to sleep at Capsule Corp so he spends more time with Bochi and his newborn daughter. After the whole charade with Frieza, Bochi was interested with the whole fight, knowing why fighting is so interesting. During the whole training, she was hesitant to train, thinking that she won't be able to train good enough to keep up with any of the Saiyans, just humans, but her potential from the fusion was boosted and she grew into it. Vegeta was happy to see Bochi seeing his attraction to fighting and is glad to finally have a proper wife, part of Vegeta's mind of course. Gohan is happy he finally has power to protect his family after so long. Also, he too grows to like fighting with his whole family into the fighting scene. Goten and Trunks have actually been very happy since they've been given the opportunity to train with the gods, and they're quite experienced in the Metamorph fusion now. At Capsule Corp, Bochi is training with everyone, since she rebuilt the gravity chamber to make it much bigger and tougher so it can handle 5 tough motherfuckers training in it. Bochi is training herself to take strong punches, to which Gotenks help. On Beerus' world, Beerus is just chilling on his planet. Then Champa came up with food and asked if Beerus to try it. Beerus' reaction is expected as he pulled out pizza instead of ramen like in canon. Champa tries it, falls in love with it, eating it all, and Champa is then mad at Beerus that got the good food every time he came by. Champa then requested a tournament for the control of Beerus' food supplies, more specifically Earth. Beerus calls up Bochi. She answers last second and Beerus explodes at her first, then explains the situation.
Okay, Now we got that out of the way, my brother wants your whole planet for himself, so he can eat the Earth's food, and I won't allow it. I need powerful fighters, and I'll need your team.
I think you're referring to my husband's team. As for that, I can ask him. I'm down for it.
Good. I'll be picking you guys up tomorrow. Make sure he loses. And bring the two little ones to it. We need 5 fighters.
Consider it done.
With the tournament set, Bochi tells everyone to go train as they have a tournament coming up and Beerus needs all 5 of them for it. So they began training to attain as much power as they can. Goten and Trunks train so hard they start complaining of tailbone pain, but they ignore it. Tomorrow came by. Vegito, Bochi, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks are waiting on Whis. Whis, however, calls up, saying Beerus will have to power up for Vegito to sense him and instant transmission over there. So, Vegito and the crew does so. Upon arriving, we see Beerus and Whis ready to go, and so they do. On their way there, Bochi made barbecue, eating plenty right off the grill herself, while the rest of her crew eat their way as well, as the two gods munched away themselves. Arriving on an unknown planet, Champa has been waiting with his own food. They're all required to take a test and not a single person failed. Vegito passed it with flying colors, so did Bochi and the Suns. The Universe 6 team is basically like in canon when it came to the test. After all the stuff, the tournament is about to take place. They chose Gohan as the first pick to fight. Gohan enters, and so does Botamo. Botamo manages to overpower Gohan in terms of size and durability, being a literal pudding when Gohan punched him. Gohan, however, went into his Mystic. Considering his Mystic is close in power to Super Saiyan God, Gohan punches Botamo with all his might and manages to hurt him big time, as Botamo lost his balance and his consciousness. Gohan won as he turned to Champa, saying how their Earth will stay intact. Champa gets mad and sends Kaba in. Kaba gets into his stance and Vegeta notices, saying how he likes the way he set up his arms and legs for Assault's tandem, just like Vegeta does. Kaba mentions to Champa how he's very weak compared to Gohan, but Champa thinks Kaba can win, well, being a Saiyan. Kaba then goes and fights. Gohan notices that Kaba is actually a good Saiyan, taking time to respect the fact that Kaba is just calm. However, he then gets an idea. Training with his fused father, Gohan was taught how to impose the opponent to use more power with talking shit with safety, and Gohan tries that, and Vegito takes pride in Gohan when he does it. Gohan then starts taunting Kaba, talking all sorts of bullshit to him. Kaba, well, of course, loses his cool, but not his mind. Gohan then uses his ultimate weapon, destroying shit. Gohan then starts absolutely destroying Kaba in combat, and getting him to the edge.
So this is it. This is the end? You're a worse Saiyan than I thought I used to be. I'll be paying a visit to your family, setting up a blast just like this, and throwing it at him.
You won't do such thing! Kaba went full mad mode and transformed into a Super Saiyan for the first time and made Gohan actually interested in a young Saiyan. Kaba saw only the rage, so Gohan tried calming him down by acting nice again, but Kaba saw it as a way to trick him, so Gohan had to resort to knocking him out. That made 2 outcomes compared to canon. Kaba with Super Saiyan in his arsenal, and his hatred towards Gohan. Gohan tried to explain himself, but it just got Kaba angry again, so he was taken away, as Hit was called into the battle. Gohan immediately got a weird vibe off of him, as well as the rest of the crew. Goten points out his stature, seeing it as a defensive strategic posture, and warns his brother to be careful. Gohan then begins with a simple kick, which backfired into a lethal blow from Hit. Gohan caught himself, seeing what Hit did, thinking he's too fast, so Gohan stepped it up to Super Saiyan Blue and continues his offense. Hit still dealt heavy blows to the liver, damaging Gohan as he spat out blood. Gohan then screamed, entering his Mystic along with Super Saiyan Blue and grabbed an edge, which pushed Hit to improvement. Gohan was cautious, but improved in vain as Hit easily defeated Gohan. The last offense Hit dealt with made Gohan realize what actually was going on, but Goten knew it already, wanting to join the battle. Gohan exits the arena and is given a senzu, and Goten joins in on a fight. Hit feels offended and goes to end it in one hit, but Goten actually blocks the jab.
You see, I figured out your tricks. You have pocket dimensions to skip time, don't you? Universal physics classes sure do help. Isn't that right, bro?
Call me impressed, kid. But can you keep up?
Hit then uses his time skip to land a bunch of blows, all blocked by Goten. Goten is then urged to go Super Saiyan 3 and do some offense. Hit is managing, but Goten is predicting, which is kind of straining him. Champa calls out to Trunks, or how he calls him, the other kid, and Trunks enters a battle. Goten and Trunks then fuse into Gotenks, already in Super Saiyan and with plenty of time to think. Gotenks is manhandling Hit, to the point where Gotenks is just toying with him. Vegeto's starting making fun of Gohan.
I can't believe you have to use your full power against a foe who even your younger brothers can handle with ease.
Gotenks then powers up to Super Saiyan 3 and knocks Hit out. Next is Magetta. Magetta is easily handled since Gotenks always talk shit, so the flaw of Magetta's was exploited in a matter of seconds, making him forfeit. The last fighter is Frost, and Gotenks is taken aback by Frost, seeing him as good Frieza. However, despite their age, Gotenks wasn't stupid and tells Frost to go full power, or his final form, and not to waste any more time. Just like in canon, Frost works his way up, seeing how Gotenks is easily handling him, forcing him to his final form. Gotenks still had a massive advantage until Frost pulled a poison needle and shanked Gotenks, making him unfuse and drop out, making the two go unconscious. Bolchi notices it.
Frost cheated. He used a poison needle. Check his right wrist.
The referee checks the wrist and it turns out to be true, getting him disqualified. With that, Universe 7 won, with Bolchi and Vegito intact.
Very keen eye. I'm proud of you.
Just did my part for the community. Frieza is Frieza no matter what.
Gotenks won for all of them, and they were about to go celebrate, but Zeno appeared and was mad because he wasn't invited and all that. Vegito does what Goku would do and does the usual Gokuing and actually manages to make Zeno his friend, while the gods look on in horror, seeing a mortal Saiyan with the king of all. Zeno and Vegito agree on a big tournament in the future, and with it, Zeno gives Vegito the Zeno button and disappears. Beerus has summoned the Super Dragon Balls, and Beerus wished Champa a dupe of his Earth, and they went back home. However, in an alternate timeline, we see Trunks running from something which is causing destruction all over the place. Trunks then hides along with future Bulma. Just as they're about to depart into the past, that someone barges in and kills Bulma. Trunks does the best he can to escape, and he does. He meets up with future Mai, and they rest up. Once they caught their breath, they go to Capsule Corp, but that someone isn't letting them escape. Mai suggests to be the decoy, but before she can be useful, she's seemingly killed. Trunks is now pissed as fuck and rushes the one he calls Black. They fight for a bit and then Trunks manages to escape into Capsule Corp and fire up the machine. Black noticed the minute and tried to attack him, but he was already too far gone. Back in the present, we see Vegito being forced to mine again by Bolchi, as he calls up Piccolo to help out with transferring the ores and all that. Back at Capsule Corp, the time machine appears as its future Trunks. Present Trunks is weirded out by this, and Bolchi went to look for something the second she saw him. She called Vegito.
Where's my dad? And who are you?
Your mother, who else?
No, you're not. My mother is Bulma. Just so you know, this timeline is different.
Future Trunks then attacks Vegito for no obvious reason.
You'll pay! What the hell are you on about? Why you return back to the past?
Trunks understood where he was, then apologizes and gets to the story.
I attacked you because there's someone looking exactly like you, sir. Sir. Oh, you wouldn't know. See the woman there? That's your mother here, and I'm your father.
Bullshit.
It's true. Compare the names Vegito and Bochi to your, and for example, Gohan's family.
Bochi. Wait,
See,
how?
over here, we're fused. The Sun and Brief's family are one.
Weird. Anyways, that foe who appeared and looked like you, he's,
Vegito Black then enters the present timeline through a rift. Vegito immediately went to him to fight him, of course. This part goes as in the original, so the time machine is destroyed. Trunks is just like what the hell and wants to take him on himself, even if it kills him, and Vegito thinks the same. All while that's happening, Beerus and Whis have noticed a time ring on his index finger. They then tell everyone how time travel is forbidden action and how they can get destroyed for tampering with time, as it's only allowed to flow in only one direction. They're scared now, but Beerus says he can forgive if he can get some good food, and so he gets those sausages. Bochi then remembers the old time machine and goes to find it so she can repair it. Trunks decides to fight Vegito to see how he stands against him, and so Vegito spares no niceties and goes Super Saiyan Blue and fights Trunks for a bit before knocking him out. Vegito and Trunks then go train for a bit so they can have a better chance against Black. The time machine is done and they go into the future. In the alternate timeline, they go and feed the survivors and all that, as well as Mai, and they go and announce their return.
Show yourself, you knockoff, and fight the real Saiyan.
Black is there instantaneously.
A real Saiyan. If you're a mortal being, you'll be dead in a matter of minutes. None of those Dragon Balls will fix what I'll do to you.
Vegito then goes Super Saiyan Blue and rushes Black. Black's having a bit of trouble at first, but then knocks Vegito down. He then transforms into his own version of Super Saiyan Blue called Super Saiyan Rose. But before he can dispose of Vegito, Zamasu arrives, saying he should be the one taking at least Trunks down. Black is triggered, but agrees to fight Vegito, while Zamasu is gonna take on Trunks. Meanwhile, back in the present timeline, Beerus and Whis decide to investigate Black's appearance back then, as well as the time ring. They go to Universe 10 and consult with Gosu as well as Zamasu. They figure out Zamasu has weird intentions, but can't really connect the dots that easily. Back with the Saiyans in the future, Vegito's having trouble in his Super Saiyan Blue form, and then Vegito pulls out the big guns.
I can bet you don't know half of the shit that exists in this whole universe. Ningen hater. Witness the technique of a god.
Vegito whips out his Kaioken and he rushes at both of them. Vegito knocks out Black and kills him in a matter of minutes, much to Trunks' confusion. However, Zamasu is a bit harder to take down as he wished to be immortal.
The fucker. If you wanted to get rid of the mortal beings, you wouldn't need immortality. It's not like you care about a destroyer you don't have, and that is not linked with you.
It takes a while and Zamasu is getting frustrated. He starts launching key attacks at Vegito, but Vegito has to finish it quickly. So he starts preparing a massive Kamehameha, gets under Zamasu and fires the wave at him and seemingly disintegrates him.
Big mouths have finally shut the fuck up. Say, Trunks, take us back.
However, that's not the end, as Zamasu starts to spread throughout the whole universe. They have no chance now, no matter how hard they try.
Oh wait, let's just call the main guy up in this bitch.
Vegito then remembers the Zeno button he got from Zeno a while back and presses it to summon Zeno to his location.
who are you? What happened to this place? Did you do that?
Hey Zeno, here's Zamasu, the Kai in training of Universe 10. He did all this. Do you have time to somehow dispose of him?
With Zeno there, they just ask of him to destroy Zamasu And destroy he did. They managed to return to the present just in time. And after a while, with Zeno too. After a while, the squad was training for the most part, with humans joining back in on the fun of fighting. So they got plenty stronger now that the Z fighters have started buffing up. They are ready for anything now. Sadly, Beerus, Whis, and Vegito forgot about present day Zamasu, so they went to collect every piece of evidence they could to get rid of him. Zamasu, of course, slipped and paid the price. Beerus, however, didn't catch on to the story Vegito told him about Zamasu becoming mortal using Super Dragon Balls, so Vegito told him how he used the Zeno button there and that managed to dispose of Zamasu once and for all. Zenos, in the meantime, called up Vegito, notifying him of the Tournament of Power they spoke of way back during the Tournament of Destroyers. Vegito figured he totally forgot about it and made a date with Zenos about it. So now, the Tournament of Power is set. Zenos told Daishinkan about the tournament, and so Daishinkan went and told every universe about it, specifically the Kais. Shin pissed himself after Daishinkan's visit, and he rushed to Earth to notify everyone about it, and wanted to know who did it. It turned out to be Vegito, and now it's up to him to fix it by getting the fighters to fight for their own universe. Vegito, however, jumps in, saying he is the one who will join and destroy the tournament.
I got us into this mess. I will join the tournament myself and atone for my mistakes.
You cannot do that. You'll get yourself killed.
Even if I get myself killed, I'll know I have messed up.
With that, the preliminaries are about to evolve just as per usual. Just with the same main three who participated in the Destroyer tournament, as the ones to claim the win. So, Vegito, Bochi, and Gohan. As the Zeno Expo crept closer, Vegito, Bochi, and Gohan were on high alert on what might happen for it. But for the time's sake of keeping things fair, they go on a 3v3 like in canon. With it, they go. On the Zeno Expo, they meet up with their opponents, who are pretty smug for felines. Bochi says she can take all three of them on without any major difficulty. Vegito says no, as he might need the experience for the other universes. Bochi says how she can't allow him to go into the tournament all alone, and how he needs to take at least her and the family, no one else. Vegito says,
Look, I messed this up. So it's high time I do something for the people of the planet we live on. Just let me. Just this once.
With the whole conversation done, Bochi is then let go to fight first, as she wants to test her strength. So she goes against Bazil. She initiates a fight and sees that Bazil can actually keep up some with her. Bochi then powers up slightly and Bazil does the same. Bochi is using 50% of her power, while Bazil is using about the same. They keep on fighting until they both reach their 100% base. Bochi then wants to test if the furries have forms. So she goes into her god form and Bazil is dumbfounded, but is very well introduced when Bochi heads for a punch. Bazil at this point cannot keep up whatsoever, so the rest of the trio gets worried and asks for permission to give Bazil some boost. Daishinkan approves, and Bergamo tosses some kind of fruit into Bazil's mouth, and Bazil gets a power boost almost instantly. Bochi is kind of scared now, but keeps her composure, getting into a stance Whis hardwired into her brain, to which Whis takes pride in a way. Bazil then rushes at Bochi, but the punch is so weak that Bochi gets a bit cringed, as she simply knees Bazil down and wins the first round. Next up is Gohan and Lavender. Lavender is pretty prideful, while Gohan keeps his composure. Lavender then rushes Gohan, and Gohan is simply dodging his attacks. Lavender manages to land a punch, but Gohan returns a much more powerful one. Lavender then pulls out his poison. Gohan is on guard, activating a barrier straight away and powering up further. Lavender followed and matched the power output, and the two clashed. The two were pretty much on par until they came to a standstill. Gohan then requests as following.
Alright, You better power up as far as you can.
Alright, but don't regret your decision.
Lavender then starts powering up, going above and beyond.
Is that it? Watch the real fighter at work.
Gohan then powers up to 100% of his mystic. The pressure itself makes Lavender piss his pants, as Gohan proceeds to pummel him into the ground with extreme force. At this point, Lavender is still alive, but barely. Vegito kinda feels bad, so when Bergamo gets him up, Vegito says,
Hey Lavi! Senzu bean!
What is this?
Eat it. It heals you instantly.
Lavender then eats the sensu and instantly recovers him back to full strength. Lavender thanks Vegito. Vegito nods and descends down to fight Bergamo. Bergamo also goes down to fight. Bergamo then says,
I wanna thank you for healing Lavender up. I appreciate it. Fight now, talk later. I did this because my own son literally pounded him into oblivion. I see. Eager to lose.
Bergamo then spreads out his arms, tempting Vegito to punch him. Vegito does that and Bergamo grows in size. Vegito is then punched back. While he's flying away, Vegito gets a big grin on his face. Vegito then recoils back and rushes again and deals a barrage of kicks and punches, making Bergamo grow exponentially in size. Vegito is then getting carried away and starts throwing stronger and stronger punches, calling Bergamo out.
What is it? Getting too big? Maybe you need to, get shorter.
Vegito then kicks his leg as he falls down onto the ground with a large impact.
I thought you got stronger with every punch, not turn into a Nuzaru knockoff.
Bergamo then gets mad, flies up to stand up, and then shoots a mouse beam at Vegito. Vegito turns into a casual Super Saiyan and simply catches the wave. He then splits it and disperses of it with a Keyblade. Bergamo is left in complete shock as Vegito starts preparing a
Final Kamehameha!
Vegito completely dominates Bergamo and wins from them all. Vegito powers down and sees he went slightly overboard with Super Saiyan. He then goes to pick up Bergamo and put him back in the bleachers. However, he sees an unknown and mysterious person standing up and jumping down onto the tournament arena. Vegito turns around and descends, as the person reveals himself to be Toppo.
Hello, Vegito. I see you're quite a good guy here. Fight me. Alright. Are you gonna be in the tournament I messed up with the setup?
Toppo realizes that it was Vegito who did this in the first place, and so does everyone else.
Good are you? Well then, I won't hesitate defeating you. If you can, that'd be great.
Vegito then transforms into Super Saiyan 2 and waits, as Toppo powers up and rushes at Vegito. Vegito spares no time, rendering Toppo helpless in an instant. Vegito puts Toppo in an arm lock and Toppo is struggling, but gets out of the arm lock and then tricks Vegito, ending up choking Vegito. Vegito is struggling with it, but then remembers that he has more in his arsenal. He cannot enter Super Saiyan 3 as fast, so he goes and transforms, exploding in a shiny blue aura as he enters Super Saiyan Blue. Toppo notices that Vegito is using the power of gods.
Surprised? You're using this god power for all the bad. Considering I saved the whole Universe 7 and a whole ass timeline, I won't mind going into the Tournament of Power myself and save all the universes.
Toppo then is about to use his destroyer form, but Daishinkan stops them, telling the Zenos to wait for the real deal. Everyone left, and so did our crew. Back at home, Vegito then says,
Alright, I don't want anyone up in this. I'm going to win this tournament all on my own. I don't care if you got another kid or go on surpassing me and wants to kill me. I'm going on my own. Now I'm going to Zenos and ask them,
Vegito then goes to Zeno's palace and encounters Daishinkan.
Greetings, Daishinkan. Xenos, I have a request.
State your wish.
Well, you already know I requested this, but did not know it's gonna come to this. So I'm entering a tournament all alone. No teammates, no help pillars, no assistance. I wanna atone for what I did, because I'd rather restore my universe and infuse the next time, rather than getting a selfish wish and live with the guilt.
I see you're grateful for how you were created. I will let you be the only one on the team.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your time.
With that, Vegito is sent back to Earth and announces the success of his request. Bochi is extremely worried, and so is everyone else. And at this point, Vegito too is scared, but requests Whis to train him in a time chamber. Daishinkan says 40 hours when he comes over, so Vegito uses essentially all 40 hours training. So when Vegito exits, he is ready for the tournament. With those few moments wasted, Vegito is ready to go. So he goes to the Null Realm with Whis, Beerus, and his family, since they would like to see him fight. Upon settling in and seeing the Universe 6 Saiyans are there, Vegito glares at one special foe, Jiren the Great. As Jiren displays a bit of his power, Vegito is amazed how something so strong exists out there. Daishinkan then announces the start of the tournament. First casualty is Universe 2, as they're eliminated and wiped from existence. Caulifla then finds Vegito and they start battling. It all ends up with Kale going nuts and destroying most of the arena. Jiren intervenes and disposes of her. Vegito then fights Brienne and defeats her easily. Then, after seeing Jiren doing what he did, he goes to him and engages the first battle with him. It starts off eventless until Vegito uses Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken and starts making a mark on the alien. Jiren then displays a bit of his power, knocking Vegito out for a little bit. Once Vegito gets back to his senses, he knows he will only use himself up with the ace of his sleeves, but decides to take a risk as he brings out the sorrow he pulled up inside and starts transforming, eventually going into Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, and at first starts destroying most of the stuff due to him coping on the inside, basically losing control. Jiren tries to dispose of him just like he did with Kale, but Vegito takes the kick and turns his attention to Jiren, attacking him and doing a whole lot of damage on him. The rest of the paratroopers go to aid Jiren, but they are easily stopped by the Saiyans from Universe 6, who are showing respect for Vegito and displaying their Saiyan pride, as they battle the troopers. Jiren is taking a massive beating and can't do anything about it, but to power up to his full power. He now has a chance as he goes and attacks Vegito as their power clashes with each other's. Vegito is still holding up against Jiren, but eventually loses all his stamina and energy and faints. Jiren is about to throw him off the ring, but Hit sees this and prevents Jiren from doing so. Hit is then knocked out almost instantly and Vegito is thrown off. Vegito then manages to hold himself on the little pile of floating rocks. Vegito was locked in his thoughts basically, thinking he could do it, and his mind just went blank. The rest of the Saiyans then charge at Jiren and are trying to take revenge, and although Jiren is worn out, he can still keep up with Caulifla and Kale. Eventually the Saiyans start losing a lot of energy and also losing hope. Kaba puts all his shit aside and starts transforming into Super Saiyan 3 and attacking Jiren with all he's got, but is put down after a failed attempt. Vegito sends Kaba going into Super Saiyan 3 and he sees his life flashing before his eyes. He begins dropping tears and letting his foot go off the edge of the rock. Bochi sees this and screams to Vegito not to give up. Jiren then prepares to knock them all off to claim victory, but Vegito then opens his eyes mid-falling as he accesses autonomous Ultra Instinct, followed by a really nice and big light show. Jiren, having no time to play around, tries to hold Vegito down in the void, but Vegito dodges and lands a gut punch on Jiren, strong enough that Jiren is gasping for air. Vegito then stands in front of everyone battling Jiren. Vegito is still shedding tears, but just like Gohan first transforming into Super Saiyan 2 in canon during Cell games, they evaporate as Vegito gets a stern look in his eyes. As Vegito is looking at this new power of his, he rushes and kicks Jiren out of boundaries. Jiren is in the bleachers before the remainder of the Pride Troopers, as the entirety of his universe there is screaming at him. Bochi then screams back at them, telling them that Jiren doesn't believe in anything but power and that he is blinded by it to recognize his friends. Vegito looks at Bochi and gives her a heads up by bursting his aura, losing his power at that exact moment. Vegito then collapses down as the Saiyans, who are worn down themselves, take great appreciation in Vegito and start protecting him. Vegito stands up and tells everyone to back off as everyone's battling him, not them, getting into a stance as he bursts out into a regular but very weakened Super Saiyan. The Tree of Danger takes him on and he bursts a very weak barrier as he's basically ruined. He needs to prove that he has the power to win in his head, no matter if he kills him or not. Caulifla is scared, Kale is smiling as he starts developing a crush for Vegito, and Kaba has achieved a certain pride in himself. Regardless, they're all just worn out. Vegito is in the meantime poisoned by Lavender, but only slightly, so he has time to focus on the barrier. Bochi gets very worried and yells at the Saiyans to help him, but they're just standing there. Bochi is looking on in horror, but remembers Saiyans are wired that way, so she sits down but still scared for her husband. Vegito is fighting the best he can, eventually going up to Super Saiyan 2 and continuing the offensive. Lavender gets kicked out and so does Bazil, so Bergamo is the only one left. Vegito uses all he can to win in this situation, but Bergamo is way too huge for Vegito's depleted energy. So Vegito uses Super Saiyan God Burst to counter, which drains him drastically, but he's still standing strong and fighting for his life. Bergamo is then eventually kicked off by Vegito. While all that was happening, Caulifla was fighting the Bugman and managed to outsmart him, but Vegito came in holding his arm and stabbing the Bugman using a Keyblade. Not fatally, but the Bugman is sent to the bleachers and healed up by the Kai. With no one else to take care of, the Saiyans bargain on who should win and take all the universes back on. But Vegito has already made his decision and powers up to Super Saiyan Blue, ready for action. The Saiyans are confused, but get the idea very fast as they all transform into their respective forms. Vegito uses every last drop of his willpower to defeat as many as he can. He managed to defeat Caulifla. Kale and Cav are a little tougher since Vegito is extremely depleted and is trying to conserve as much energy as possible. But no matter how much he fights, he's still depleting himself and eventually falls down from exhaustion. Vegito then says,
What are you waiting for?
Kaba is very sad to see Vegito finally kicking the bucket. Kaba then picks him up, all mangled from battling, and carries him to the edge. But before he can drop him and proclaim Universe 6 the victor, Vegito opens his eyes as Kaba sees his silver eyes yet again and simply gets behind every Saiyan and uses the key pressure of his to knock every Saiyan off as he enters yet again Ultra Instinct. Vegito has finally won, and actually all by himself. Well, almost, which surprised everyone, winning about 30 minutes before the end of the tournament and with only himself in the ring. Daishinkan comes over and announces Vegito as the winner and asks him of the wish. Vegito is still in his Ultra Instinct, looking at empty bleachers and saying he wants all the universes to be restored back into existence, telling Daishinkan that he hasn't changed his mind on that. With Daishinkan telling him it's a wise choice, he summons the Super Shenron and restores all the universes with the help of him. With that, we have Vegito as a winner of the Tournament of Power, and they return back to their normal lives. A day after they rested up, they have actually survived this, but they don't know what might be coming for them in the near future. Vegito is relaxing at his home, basically being worshipped by Beerus and Whis for winning and gaining respect of the entire cosmos. Vegito is just annoyed at the fact that he doesn't want to be recognized as some savior, rather just a regular Saiyan who fixed his mistake. At this point, he gained the massive respect from Jiren, Toppo, the Universe 6 Saiyans, and other warriors from all over the cosmos. Gained massive respect, all for the fact that Vegito joined in on his own and his universe won, which was incredible. Vegito tells Whis that in order to not mess up like this again, to train him the best he can so he can attain that ultra instinct he displayed. You do realize you're a fused being now, with two mindsets. You can't simply be trained for it, you have two people inside you.
At this point, I forgot I'm a fusion. I have my own personal life. Something that I kind of needed.
You're saying that you feel like a whole new being?
Yeah. Ever since I first transformed into a Super Saiyan God against Lord Beerus.
Intriguing. Whis realizes that not only the Saiyans fuse physically, but mentally too. Something he never expected to happen. In the meantime, Caulifla and Kale had decided they're gonna fuse too and fight Vegito to see if they stand anywhere near him. They're not warned by the Supreme Kai about being permanently fused, just like how Goku wasn't warned in canon that it's temporarily for mortals. So Kale and Caulifla do it as quickly as it was said. When the fusion was complete, Kefla and Kaba asked the Vados to take them to Universe 7 for a sparring match. So they go. Vados asks Kefla why did they fuse, and Kefla replies how they just need to see if they can surpass a fusion while being fused. They arrive on Earth not too far away from Capsule Corp, and Vegito senses them all, to which he responds and sees the two with the Potara and cringes at the fact they fused and tells them they just wasted their lives to permanently fuse. Kefla is just standing there completely dumbfounded before breaking the silence with an extremely loud scream of disbelief as she started cursing at the Supreme Kai, while Vegito and Vados couldn't hold their laugh. Bochi came over to see what's going on and saw Kefla venting for getting herself permanently fused, and she too giggled, before coming in clutch and comforted her, saying she too fused, but for the good and to consider it just a fresh new page in the book. Kefla then agrees, then smugly challenges Vegito to a battle. Vegito is dumbfounded by that, but smirks and tells Bochi to fight her. Bochi is kind of hesitant, seeing that she's fighting a Saiyan fusion, but agrees anyways. So the fight begins very vague. Since two women are fighting, it's mostly just sparring at first. But as they go on, they start fighting seriously, biting each other, pulling hair and whatnot, which is a great sight for everyone to see as they're entertained. They then start talking shit to each other, roasting each other basically, although they never really spoke. Kefla is bitching about Bochi's features, and Bochi was bitching about Kefla's ego trip in the fight. The two finally come to a standstill and figure out that Kefla is in Legendary Super Saiyan 2 and Bochi is in her God state, as they both flared auras. While Vegito is surprised, those two actually went all out in this battle. Bochi and Kefla are tied, as they were both in full power during the entire fight. At that point, they threw in the towel and cupped hands in mutual respect to each other. All of a sudden, Vegito is nowhere to be found, as well as Gohan and Buu. Bochi started looking for them. The kids and Kefla joined in too, while Kaba and Vados are spectating through the Angel Staff. They find out they have all been tranquilized and taken to some kind of ship. Kaba mentions the insignia, saying they could be space cops, similar to like the ones in their universe. So, Whis goes to tell the women what exactly happened. Meanwhile, in the ship of Galactic Patrol, Vegito and Gohan wake up, confused as to what's going on. They're greeted by Miris. Vegito and Gohan are given time to sober up from the sleep agent and then are briefed on Moro, an evil magician that escaped the prison and is seeking for Namek to finish what he started there. Vegito is triggered they were basically kidnapped, but agree to help. They're both given patroller insignia and they're assigned their fighters. They overhear the 7-3-foe situation, so Gohan demands to take him on, while Vegito is taking care of Moro. So with it, they go. Vegito instant transmissions to Namek and instantly notices its decrease in life force. He pinpoints it to one location and instant transmissions there. He then sees Moro and initiates a battle. Meanwhile, Gohan is taken to the location of 7-3, which is a remote planetoid simmer. 7-3 is located after a few minutes of searching, and 7-3 is then found. Gohan is notified of 7-3's ability to copy abilities, so Gohan is now ready to take him on, as he exits the ship to battle 7-3, bursts a key, and initiating a battle. Vegito is manhandling Moro in Super Saiyan 3, so easily in fact that Moro is put down in a matter of minutes, despite Moro feasting on the planet's life force, as well as Vegito's. Moro is healing slower than he's beaten up, eventually getting to the point where he can't keep up his pace with Vegito. Vegito then shares a small talk with Moro.
Do you see that? Even though you're taking my power, that you stand no chance. Here's a little goodbye gift.
I won't be defeated that easily.
Vegito punctures Moro with a Keyblade, killing him then and there. He then puts a bit of his energy to heal up planet Namek and stabilize its core, before instant transmissioning to planetoid Simmer. Over there, he sees Gohan battling 7-3, as he throws a lifeless Moro on the ground in front of everyone, including Miras.
You didn't instruct me on what to do with him, so I just killed him.
Miras is surprised, but lets it slide. Gohan is also handling 7-3 in Mystic Super Saiyan Blue. At that point, 7-3 caught up to him due to stealing Mystic of Gohan's, but that isn't stopping Gohan, as Gohan gets an opening to punch through 7-3's body, making him fall down on the ground from the pain. Before he even noticed, he's caught in Gohan's Masenko Blast, blasting him into hell right then and there. Miras takes a sigh of relief, knowing that the two most powerful inmates are neutralized. Not in the way he envisioned, but regardless, the job is done. Whis gets on Simmer with Kefla, Bochi, and the kids, as Bochi hugs Vegito. Kefla goes there and looks at Vegito with the eyes of worry. Bochi sees that and gets jealous, initiating a proper battle. Bochi ends up winning by a very thin thread, but eventually comes to terms. So now, Vegito apparently has a teeny tiny little harem of a whole 2 women that are into him. Well, technically 4. With that, they go home to Capsule Corp. Kefla decided to stay in Universe 7, as well as Kaba. Kefla stayed because of Vegito, and Kaba stayed for training. Vados is perfectly fine with it, so she just leaves them be. Goten and Trunks, however, ask Vegito for an artificial moon, because they'd like to try something. Vegito sees their tails, but lets them experiment, so they go to the outskirts. Vegito summons the artificial moon, and the two fuse, just to go Uzaru, then Golden Uzaru, before entering something that was never seen before. Super Saiyan 4. Vegito is on Beerus' planet, training away and trying to properly attain autonomous Ultra Instinct. He was eventually taught the proper way to enter it at will. At one point, he entered the Ultra Instinct and used it for quite a bit, which impressed Beerus as he stood up wiping the cheese from pizza off his face and basically respected the fact that Vegito is the proper mortal, or in his language, a wet dream. Vegito then starts shooting out blasts and destroys a moon by accident and shits himself. But when he notices that both Whis and Beerus are looking towards him in amazement, he drops out of Ultra Instinct and is confused, before Beerus shakes it off and comments on Vegito. On Serial, however, the Dragon Torombo is dispersed and we see Granola with slightly longer hair. He begins powering up to see his new power-up. Granola used the Dragon Balls to wish himself to become the strongest warrior in the universe, able to take down Frieza with one hit. With it, he goes and asks for Frieza's location, which they said to him that Frieza is gone, but remembers exactly who he can get the revenge on other than Frieza, asking for every Saiyan in the universe to be located. Maki tells him after researching that there are 6 Saiyans remaining because Frieza rid them from the universe a while ago. Granola goes and asks for all the 6. One is Tarble, another one's Broly, who was exiled along with his father Paragus to a planetoid called Vampa, and the rest are residing on Earth. There's one called Vegito, he's very well known for saving the universe around the universe and beyond, and the other 2 are unknown, because they've settled there very recently. Granola says it works just fine and tells them to start by going to Earth for the ones that aren't familiar. as he'd like to see what they're from. On Earth, Kefla and Bolchi are fighting again for some goddamn reason, as the scenery is greeted by them basically headbutting each other out of sheer rage towards one another. After a bit, we see two being angry over the fact of who will cook for Vegito. Vegito comes home just in time to see the two bitch to each other, asking what the hell is that about. Bolchi explains, and then Vegito says,
Well then, just both of you cook and I'll be the judge of who cooks better. Your time starts now.
Both women are confused and take time to let it sink in, before they realize and get to work in a hurry, trying to outrun and best each other. Vegito and Kaba then go to chill outside and talk about the stubbornness of the two, before sensing a massive power level from space coming towards Earth. The two women sense it too, but think nothing of it and focus on their cooking. A ship descends as Granola exits. Vegeta notices that he's a Cerealian, connecting the two dots together and coming up to the conclusion he's here for revenge.
So I finally found you, you filthy Saiyans. I waited for over 50 years just to take my revenge. I thought you were gonna say that, which is why I can't let you in on a little secret. That being that we didn't do it.
Yeah, go tell that cat to some other fool. You're a Saiyan, that's all I need to know.
Kaba here is a Saiyan too, but he's not from this universe. So you sure you want to take your revenge on him?
I don't care. You're going to die.
Granola then attacks Vegito, but Vegito easily blocks it with a pinky finger.
Are you done throwing a hissing fit and ready to listen to me?
And what's a smart thing a Saiyan can say? Sure, my race has destroyed your planet, but it wasn't me, so it doesn't count. Saiyan, please. I know more about you than any other person.
Okay, so who did I used to be?
Granola is left speechless, muttering his name and seeing Vegito's point.
See? Not everything you know is true either. I may be a Saiyan, but I'm no ordinary Saiyan. I'm two Saiyans fused into one.
What? Impossible. No way.
You heard my voice? You hear that double? Do you need images of Vegeta and Kakarot to prove it?
Granola heard Vegeta and got visibly angry, but knew that he is dead now, so he began initiating a fight anyways, as he rushed Vegito once again, activating his other eye. Vegeta went from autonomous Ultra Instinct to Ultra Instinct and started going offensive on Granola. Granola has powered up drastically, but Vegito is manhandling him, going back to autonomous Ultra Instinct because he doesn't want strain. So he just continues on by dodging Granola, and Granola gets frustrated and starts using key attacks to try and throw off Vegito out of whack. But that doesn't work either, as Vegito simply just throws these away and counters Granola's attack.
I don't want to fight you. I've never met you, Cerealian. You need to pull the plug before you lose all your energy.
That's enough out of you, foolish Saiyan.
Granola starts preparing a massive finger beam, ready to snipe Vegito away, aiming straight for his head and fires the strongest beam right at Vegito. Vegito takes a simple approach and uses after image, which makes the beam go through Vegito's after image, making Granola think he got him. But Vegito is behind Granola and neck chops him unconscious, making him fall down on the ground. Bolchi ran out with a whole stack of food. Right after her was Kefla, as the two got confused as to what was going on. Vegito told them it was about time, as he got hungry from throwing around with the Cerealian. Vegito then dug in his meal, while Kaba was watching over Granola. Vegito commented that both of these were delicious, but said that Kefla actually did the meat better than Bolchi, which made Bolchi shocked and Kefla prideful. Granola woke up as he got confused, but saw the rest of his family out there. Bolchi and Kefla who are pulling each other's hair, and the sons just laughing through that, while Vegito is smiling at Granola, lending him a hand.
See? We were the ones to defeat Frieza. Because after you put us through, I think it was a way to go and atone for our shit we did to the races across the universe.
You defeated Frieza?
Well, my other half was the first. The future version of the purple-haired kid was the second. And the grown kid was the third. You all had our turn with that, cum stain.
I wanted to fight him. I wanted to defeat him. But a Saiyan defeating him is even better in my mind. I think you already have atoned. However, the sins of your elders will still stay with me.
So, why don't you join us? We can use an eye province here, and we can train to better ourselves. What do you say?
I can consider that a good change of pace.
Vegito then extends his hand for a handshake, and Granola stares at it before shaking hands with a Saiyan. Vegito introduces the Cerealian to his family. Kefla was intrigued as well as Bochi due to Bulma's influence. The sons started bonding with him quite a bit, being the senior. With that, Vegito has made Granola join the Z Fighters, ditching his old crew, but telling the Saiyans where the rest of the Saiyans were. Vegito says,
Look, man, as much as I want to return every Saiyan back, I think they're gonna come here on their own with a chip on their shoulder, and we're gonna welcome them with open arms at any time, because they're enjoying a Frieza-less life right now.
and with that, we're done with this what if. Thank you for watching. If you think I'm a better editor than Goku T23, then click dislike. But if you liked the video, hit that like button. Please, feel free to check out my sparring partners on my channel page and give them some love. If you'd like me to cover your idea in the near future, comment down below. And as always, peace out.